Squishbilly Huddersfield Town. The most famous goal of Squishbilly's life.
Is this the moment for Lee Fowler? It is. Take your place in Division 2, Huddersfield Town.
And Steve Simonson's boots now. He's missed. Steve Simonson clears the flame of the goal and collapses in a heap of tears. Huddersfield Town are promoted.
Skipper Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hey up everyone and welcome to episode 97 of the Huddersfield Town Social, part of the Andy Takes That Chance podcast. The guys are back buoyant after the Terriers triumphed over Exeter City. Over 600 fans made the 546-mile trip to St James's Park and started to wish they hadn't after a vintage Town turgid opening began to give us all flashbacks of the horror shows of the last three away games. But Town finally remembered how to play some football, and Castledean's perler from the edge of the box paved the way to our second away league win of the season. Add to that news of 100% stadium takeover, and it's been a pretty good week in the life of Huddersfield Town. How pleased are you with Town's performance on Saturday? Are you concerned with the mounting injury list? And what should Kevin Nagle and co do with the 50-odd acre site around the stadium? It's time to have your say. I'll be your host tonight, Nick Barlow, and joining me in the discussion as ever, Agas K, Andy K and Tristan Batley-Kyle. Welcome, gents. Welcome, listeners. As always, please get your comments and your questions in and have your thoughts on the discussion this evening. Corner time. I'm A up, Jed Robinson. Morning, Nick and the boys. I can feel the love in the house tonight. Northern football is back. And it's just nice to be here, lads, innit? Talking about a win for a change on the road. It's been a while since we had that in the league, isn't it? And miserable feckers like me were looking at it thinking, you know what, this could be a draw here. Exeter not in great form, but neither are we away from home. And that opening 20 minutes was a little bit lackluster, to say the least. Gaz, I'm gonna go straight into the instance, mate. And I guess the first talking point was the fact that Lee Nichols was in goal. Apart from, thinking, well, he started against Man City, and to me, I thought, well, that probably means that Goodman's going to come back in. But fair play to Grant, Lee Nichols has been performing well, and that's been rewarded with maintaining his place in the team.
Yeah, it has, and he's not done so bad, has he? I guess the away games, he's let a few in, but I'm not entirely sure you can pin him down with much blame on any of those goals. And actually, I thought against the Man City games, distribution were decent as well. He managed to ping a few out to the full-backs where there are a bit of space. And, it's quite unusual, really, because Grant's not really been if you've got the shirt, it's yours to lose type manager, has he? He's very much been I'll pick the person I think that's right for the individual circumstance. So it wouldn't surprise me if he wanged Goodman back in for Saturday with the old using his Lee Clark bingo machine. But I thought Nichols had a really good game. I thought he looked really assured. He pulled out a massive save just at the right time, because that goes in, we've got a major problem. But yeah, I think, to be honest, Nichols wasn't a great surprise that he didn't change it. But I was pleased to see the other changes he made. I thought that the team he picked was pretty much the team we talked about when we were last all together, which was quite interesting. And in the end, they turned it on in the day. But yeah, I thought Nichols had a good game, and clearly he's going to keep Goodman out. He was asked, I think, wasn't he, by Raj in the post match, and of course he went back to his usual. I'm really lucky. I've got two first choice starting goalkeepers, so it never really answered the question why he played him instead.
I think it's good management, though, isn't it? Because you want to reward players that are in form, doing well. He got a clean sheet against Burton. All right, we weren't happy with the rest of the team's performance necessarily, but I think it's important if a player is doing well that they get to keep that place, because it kind of sends out the wrong message, doesn't it? And as good as Owen Goodman has been up to the Barnsley game, let's be honest, those actions probably cost us the result at Barnsley, because if he doesn't do those two things, we've probably come away with a result. So I think it's right that he has to play his way back into it. But Andy, the first big talking point of the game for me is that McGuinness chance. And Town, they were struggling a little bit to begin with. I thought they looked a little bit tentative. You could tell that the pressure was on for us to take the initiative and really take the game to Exeter and get the 3 points. And I think that showed a little bit in the players' performance in the first 15, 20 minutes. And Kasumu loses possession and really puts a really good ball in. And Theeney, who I thought was really, really good, does a little bit of, he just switches off a little bit, and McGuinness just peels away. It's a good run, to be fair, from him, but I mean, McGuinness should score. It's an absolute guilt-edge chance for him, and he'll be kicking himself, no doubt. And if that goes in, could be a different game altogether. But thankfully for Town, we've actually got, for once, a little bit of luck there, and just goes wide of the post. But did you think him, mate? Because I certainly did.
Well, because obviously that other end of pitch, it's difficult to see, and I think one of the posts might have been blocking the view of the ball over from the lad. But the way he's brought it down is gorgeous. And then I don't know whether he's only got a right foot to kick with. I don't know enough about the lad as a player, but yeah, looks like he's going to roll it in, and then it just sort of totters past. I think going back to Nichols and what have you, one of the things that in the warm-up, genuinely, he's warmed up as badly as a goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life, and then he's played it absolutely out of his skin. Genuinely, he's had one bobble over him. The best bit of it was when Goodman got hit in the bollocks with a stray ball, and he's gone down. And Nichols is laughing his head off at him, to be fair. But Nichols spent a lot of time walking around, almost trying to get in the zone. I couldn't work out what was going on because I don't think they trusted the pitch down at our end. It weren't a great pitch, but he's played really well after that. Some of the distribution that he was doing, the drills where they're popping it out here and popping it out there, he can't get him in the same half at pitch. I'm thinking, what on earth is going on here? And then suddenly, out of nowhere, he pulls off a bit of a distribution masterclass, and that save, second half, absolutely outstanding. But for first 15, 20 minutes, like turgid is an excellent word to describe, as you described it in your intro. Slow, one pace, just I don't know what we're up with him. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, the spaces started to appear. I don't know whether the Grant's made a tactical change. I'm not the tactician. That's what Mr. Kilroy does, isn't it? But then suddenly we got a load of space down the right. Sorensen was bombing on, which fair play to him after his exploits of keeping Zavino a bit quiet on Wednesday night to pull out that performance, particularly the first half. A lot of credit to him. Ruskin did a decent job at left back as well, and it just suddenly started to click. So I think the difference for me is that we look at to be going sideways and backwards at first 15 minutes, and then it seemed like Taylor started to step into midfield a bit more, not Taylor, Lowe, and Feeney would step forward with it. I think like Killer had been asking for last week, and that seemed to make a lot of a difference. They weren't as crowded in the midfield because Exeter were trying to find their own space, I think. But but apart from the first 20 minutes, outstanding performance, really, to be fair. And as we all know, it should have been 3 or 4.
Yeah, and Ben England, hiya Ben, mate, is say evening chaps, corner time, says our confidence in front of goal is a massive worry. And yeah, absolutely. We had so many chances, didn't we? Harness, who I thought was decent, as Town get into the game, blazes over after Sorensen puts the cross. It nearly takes someone's front window out. One of House's back at goal. It was it was that high. Do you think there is a bit of a lack of confidence in front of goal, Tris? Because I mean, it was great, wasn't it, seeing us create for once, loads of good chances. But we'll come on to it, some of the other ones later. But I mean, bloody hell, it should have really been. If the game had finished 5-2, I don't think anyone would have had any complaints, would they?
Yeah, if you look at the majority of the chances, they sky them, don't they? Or there's not clean contact, and I do just wonder if if the pitch played a bit of a part this week. You know, I don't think in recent weeks we've had loads and loads of chances that, you know, other than Taylor, I don't think we've been that concerned that we've been missing a load of chances. But it just was funny that, you know, I think Harness hit over, Wiles hit over, May hit over, obviously Taylor shanked one wide. So I do just wonder whether there was a bit of kind of almost a bit of a lack of conviction because they didn't trust the surface a little bit. But yeah, I mean, trying to be positive with it. It was good that we had all the chances that we had. You know, granted, we rode our luck a little bit with that McGuinness chance, and I'm sure we'll come on to it. But obviously, the offside goal. You know, I think in the future weeks we're going to have to take our chances, aren't we? You know, because we won't get away with it like that again.
No. But ironically, the hardest chance we put away, and it's an half chance, really. Kasumu does really well. That's what he does best, Kasumu. His passing is a bit suspect, isn't it? But what he does do well is close people down. He harries them. He wins the ball back. Castledine gets it on the left-hand side, cuts in, and just curls it off the post. It's a brilliant finish, isn't it? And it came with a decent reputation. You never quite know what you're getting with these loan players. We've had a lot of success in the past with Chelsea loan players, haven't we? And it looks like he could well be another one of those, couldn't he? He's scored 2 great goals, looks technically really good on the ball. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring. And I think he's cemented himself in the first team now, hasn't he? Andy, were you right behind that, mate? I'm just thinking where you were sat. Yeah. What was it like when that went in, mate? Went mental, didn't it?
Well, Whitworth had been getting a bit of jip anyway because typical like keeper comes over, and some of the banter from the town fans was not of the highest order, shall we say. Very, very earthy, and he'd been giving a bit back, to be fair, which I didn't mind. But when it went in, he could barely look at us for the rest of the half because he'd given it a bit, and we were the amount of people that were all over him. But it must be horrible for 45 minutes every week to have a load of absolute idiots behind you abusing you, like was happening on Saturday. It must be horrible. But yeah, it was you could sit it's the old, from the minute it left the foot, you're thinking, oh, that's got a chance, and then it's hit the sort of seemed to hit the corner of the post and crossbar and go in. And the joy was unconfined, but. Yeah, it was. I think I was pretty much eye level with the ball as it went in with it. You know, with the terrace in at Exeter. So it was pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt says we were miles better, but they were awful. One of the worst I've seen. Their game plan, first touch and passing from the back, woeful. Where perfect for us. And yeah, they weren't great, but I guess look. We've still got to beat them, haven't we? We've still got to bring our game. And I thought we were much better. And certainly, you look at some of the individual performances, I thought Sorensen was really good from an attacking perspective. He has that chance, doesn't he, where he breaks into the box and he goes past 2 players in the box. You're thinking he's going to score, and it just, I don't know whether it was a shot or a cross or what it was, but it just flashed past the goal. And Ben Wiles, he delivers a great ball into Alfie May, and he's exactly the kind of player you want in that position. But he blazes over. He connects with it really well, actually, but he just gets underneath it too much, and he just goes over. And part of me's thinking at this point, you know, is this spell going to end? And you're really thinking, come on, you know, if we just get that second goal, we can all relax a little bit more, can't we? But it's not the Huddersfield Town way, is it? We can't just put another 2 in and we all just chillax for the rest of the game. We've always got to stretch it out. Mark Aronson says Sorensen and Ruskin got into good positions, driving into huge spaces. X2 are leaving at times. This forward thrust seemed to change the game. Andy, mate, go on, mate. What were you?
Sorry, but I think that move that that went down because it went down the left through Ruskin and can't remember the ball inside. But that's Northern football. If you want an example of what Northern Castledin, what Northern football should and could look like, it's that move because it was rapid. It was almost one touch. That ball in for me, and as you saw it at the time, I thought he's done really well to actually get onto it. But when you watch it back, he's going to be really disappointed if he didn't get that on target because it was an absolutely belting ball in, to be fair to him. But that's exactly what Grant is trying to play more often. And I think probably because of the deficiencies of Exeter, we were able to do it on that occasion. But that's Northern football. If you want to watch it, just watch that move. Because ultimately, it comes to nothing, which is typical Huddersfield Town. So we try and do stuff when it never quite works. But that's Northern football.
That when you were asking, Andy, you don't know what changed. I think they changed. They suddenly started giving the ball away in more dangerous areas. In the first 10 or 15, they gave it away, but it was more an hour and a half than it was in their own. And all of a sudden, and Niskin and the lad that was playing left wing back had absolutely no interest in tracking Sorensen at all. The lad that had the Alice band in. And Sorensen had the freedom of the every time the ball got to him, he was in 15, 20 yards of space. But I mean, whilst the goal was good enough to win in the game, as your celebrity friend Catherine Hannah said tonight, and she's right really, because I think although I was disappointed we didn't go on to score 3 or 4, it was a goal that was worthy winning a game, and that the goal was made ironically by Ruskin making an absolutely brilliant overlapping run and taking, because he took one guy with him, and then the guy that was marking Cassidy took half a step to his right, and that gave the room for Cassidy to just shift it and curl it right at the top corner. So it was a lovely goal, all right. I mean, it was he won it high. Kasuma won it high. The pass to Cassidy, it was a bobbly, horrible. He sort of just waved his foot at it and it came off his foot and bobbled across. But from there on, it were real quality. And it's a shame we didn't get the second because, as you say, Nick, we then almost ended up going back in at half time. How long have we been bemoaning first half performances? We actually gave one for 30 minutes. And then still nearly went in. Level at half time. We've got to switch on. We've got to do better than that in those kind of situations because it would have been totally undeserved. And then the second half becomes a completely different game.
Yeah. Jed Robinson says, "Be honest, Andy, we look like Barcelona in insight training. So nice to actually see it on the pitch." The thing is, Jed, we're playing against mannequins in training. You're not 6'4" brick shithouses that just wipe you out in a second's notice. So it's always going to look nice and pretty in training, but it's not League One, unfortunately. He says we don't seem to have anyone who can head the ball up front. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we're gonna the way that we play though. It's difficult. I'd love to have a big 6'5" striker option to come on off that bench and just for something different. But I think unfortunately we've got Bojan, who, whilst he does offer something different, isn't really that player, is he? So maybe that's something we can look at in January if we can persuade someone to come. But it's nice to be in a position where we're not thinking in January we need 3 or 4 or 5 players in certain positions. Although we've got the injuries, which we'll talk about later, at least it's 1 or 2 bits of tinkering rather than wholesale changes and panic. Andrew Brooks says, "Good evening, gentlemen, from Sharm el Sheikh. It's a chilly 92 Fahrenheit here, but loved watching the game around the pool." Well, my heart bleeds for you, mate. It's a bit chilly, I'd try watching it in Scunny instead. Jed Robinson says that face mask did wonders for Ruskin. Oxygen starvation does wonders. In Team of the Week, League One Team of the Week, Ruben Ruskin, which I think, credit where it's due. We've been a bit critical in the past of him, mostly in the attacking position, to be fair. But it's nice to see him putting in a good performance and having that recognised. And I'm hoping he can kick on now because we are a bit light down that left-hand side, aren't we? Let's talk about the final instant of the half. You've already mentioned it, guys. Exeter at the bar from a header, and it comes out. Their player follows it in with a header. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to ask the listeners, does anybody know why that was ruled out? Because to me, I've watched it 10 times, and he's nowhere near been in an offside position.
Well, He flagged for offside. Linesman definitely flagged for offside. And there was the first contact they flagged for as well.
Who's offside? I've watched it so many times and I can't see what he's seen.
No, me neither.
No,
I
mean, I'm not complaining.
You just don't know whether it's the first ball in, whether he's offside from the first ball in. You know, he's gained an advantage. I mean, he hasn't, because he kind of runs sideways and round and then heads it in. So, but it's dubious, isn't it? Although that said, he does shove. I think it was Feeney. He does shove Feeney before he heads it, which, I mean, you've seen him give him and you've seen him not give him. Their coach, their manager, in the interview afterwards, also said, in fairness, he did push him, but it were never offside. So,
but flag were already up, Tris, wasn't it? When it got to that. So Mark Harrison says, I think linesman flagged Wareham offside, but he didn't head it. Yeah, he didn't. I mean, look, like I say, we're not complaining, are we? And usually it goes other way and we go in at 1-1 and God only knows what happens from that point. And I think Town were so dominant for 30 minutes of that first half. I think it would have been an absolute travesty to go in level after that. But you don't take your chances. There's always that potential, isn't there? And this is why it's important to get the second and third. But I think if it had been 4-2 at half time, I don't think anyone would have had any complaints. So, and then we go into the second half, and Lee Nichols is brought into action, cushion header down to Cole, smashes it, and it's a really good save, isn't it, Gaz, from Nichols? And nice to see. Again, I think X2 are thinking, let's get out there and have a go at them from the off. But yeah, keeps a lead, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's what he's sort of built. He's played for Town. That's where he's built his game, really, hasn't he? That ability to pull a shot stop out of the bag. He's always been good at that. And it was a cracking strike, but I mean the lad absolutely pinged it, and it were going right in the bottom corner. So it was a brilliant save, and I guess when you make those kind of saves, you start to think, well, perhaps it's our day after all.
Yeah. And then Ben Wiles, who, as his critics, he splits opinion, I think it'd be kind to say. There's many a Town fan had choice words exchanged between each other about Ben Wiles and whether he's good, whether he's not, whether he should be in the team or not.
That's just Shep and Killer. Never mind.
Tris, yeah.
But what I will say is, he always seems to be in the right place at the right time. He gets in the right positions. He gets chances, and Ledson puts a fantastic ball in, and Wiles has to score. I really like him, and he will score goals, and I still say he's our most effective midfielder in terms of chance creation and goals. But that header where he puts wide, he's got to score, surely, from there. He has to score.
And he missed one off his left foot as well, didn't he? Was that the first half, Andy, when they were down?
First half, wasn't it?
It was some brilliant football to get him in, and it was like a back pass, like a P roller.
Yeah. So it stays at 1-0, and the longer this is going on, I'm thinking we've seen this so many times, haven't we? You so many missed chances, and Exeter's going to get a corner last minute and put it in. May has a shot from a corner, and do you know what? It's nice to see us mix it up a little bit from a corner, not just whip it into no man's land or straight down keeper's throat. It were nice to just mix things up a bit, and it gets passed out. The shot comes in for May, and it just deflects onto the bar, doesn't it? A bit of bad luck there. And then May plays Taylor in, and Taylor's through. May's got his arms up, celebrating because he thinks we've already scored. He thinks it's a foregone conclusion that Taylor's going to smash it in, and he puts it wide, and then May just jumps off sheepish. But in the end, we hold out, don't we? Exeter rally a bit. They put a little bit of pressure on, but it never really looked like we were going to concede. I thought Feeney at the back was outstanding. I like what I see of him. I think he's really calm, composed. He's got good passing range. He's decent with his headers as well. I think there were one point late in that second half, he had a nice double header into to clear. And I think that combination of him and Lowe at the back, I don't know about you guys, but I think we've got to stick with that, haven't we, going forward? Because it seems to be working well.
Yeah,
I think Lowe's
go on.
Lowe's not been as good as he could be. I think there's a potential for, much as I like him, there's Watmer's got a case to come back in. But I think it was Jerry on the and he takes that chance came up with a brilliant stat about how little we've conceded when Feeney's been in the team. So he's got to be number one on the team sheet, and it's around him, and it seems to be Lowe and Feeney working at the moment. So I guess what is that, 2 clean sheets the last 2 games. But yeah, I think we need to keep centre halves under pressure. So I think Watmer could have a case for coming back in when he's fit again. Sorry, Tristan.
No, it's fine. I think Feeney and Lowe have both done well. I have more concerns about the fullbacks. I mean, I think Feeney kind of flounders at that effort from McGuinness. But if you have a look at where Sorensen is, he's probably nearly on the corner of the box, and actually real basic kind of defensive positioning. It should be tucked in, and he's not tucked in. The chance where he heads it back for the lad to strike it in the second half when Nichols makes that good save again, gets Ruskin's kind of ball watching, gets done by a very simple ball, just floated over the top of his head, and I think we're just a bit naive with our and not the greatest with our positioning, as fantastic as Kasumu has been as well in kind of winning that ball higher up the pitch. He let that lad run off the back of him. Castledine don't get back in and tuck back in. So I think they could just help each other out a little bit more with the position of defensively where they are. And I do just wonder whether that's the strength that we've maybe not picked out to this point, but maybe that's the strength of Gooch. And possibly, I think possibly Ruan is better kind of in that sort of more central space and tucks in, but gets caught out kind of out wide. He struggles with defending the half space where when we used to play Matty Pearson at right back, I thought Pearson was quite good at defending that kind of in between space between centre back and full back. I think Ruan just struggles with that a little bit. So I think positioning wise, we could be kind of a little bit stronger in what we do. But that possibly is also in how we try and play out and attack as well. So it might have it might be as a consequence of that. So,
Do you think Grant sees Ruskin and Sorensen as the attacking fullbacks, and then you've got Gooch and Rowan to throw in when you need more defensive fullbacks? Do you think that's how he sees it, Tris?
Probably. Although, ironically, Gooch also plays on the wings, doesn't he? But yeah, I think he's a bit smarter in that position. But yeah, it was. I think as well, like, quite as Gaz said, I think we did benefit a lot from, on Saturday in particular, from winning the ball higher up the pitch, and where Kane has played previously, we probably weren't doing that because he was sat a lot deeper. But then, then we were playing with kind of a double pivot, whereas on the weekend everything went wide, and quite interestingly, as Andy said, we nearly scored, or there was that chance. I think it was the Wiles one, the May one, when Wiles went down the wing. The chance that McGuinness from the McGuinness chance, that was almost carbon copy how we set it up. We just did it a bit quicker, and and Ruskin actually put it down the line. The first time he didn't put it down the line, he gets caught out. Kasumu tries to battle with him, and they dink a little ball over the top. And I do just wonder whether that how they play out, and then where they position themselves is then what gets us caught out. Particularly against the better teams. And I think if you look at like Barnsley, Blackpool, Bradford, a lot better attacking options. No disrespect to Exeter, but a lot better attacking options. They made us pay. The goal at Bradford, that little squirt, I can't think of his name, Poynton. He runs to the back post. I'm going to be in your camp here, Gaza. He runs in at the back post, and he goes in behind any fullbacks. Do you know what I mean? And I think I do just wonder whether we struggle with that kind of in between space and defending that space. And I can't actually think it was Sorensen's side, wasn't it, that they got in at? It wasn't. It all came down Ruin's side, but it was at Sorensen's side where they got in at the back post. So. Maybe one to think about for us going forward.
I think Gooch is massive, Tris. I think if we'd have had him in some of those circumstances, I think he makes such a difference, particularly away from home where you just need someone that's been there, done it, that experience. I think Sorensen's really good going forward, but I agree with you. I think defensively he's suspect, and teams will target that, I mean, to be fair, if you had a player that were amazing going forward and then could sprint back and amazing defensively, it'd be Championship Prem, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be League One, but I guess. Yeah. But you're right. It is something that opposition will target, and it's up to. I mean, Sorensen's got to improve that aspect of his game, hasn't he? And he seems to be building in confidence, though. The more he plays, and that's encouraging. Because at one point, I just didn't think he had a future with us. He just wasn't working. We'll have to go and get Northville from Bradford, that's all. We'll just have to take him off them. But
Mackie Wells all over again, could you imagine?
But yeah, it is a problem, isn't it? Because you want that going forward. I mean, I think Ruskin's better defensively than he's going forward, but I would rather have Sorensen in almost in an Arnis position. I'd prefer him more forward than defensive, but
I think Ruskin's a better left back than he is a left wing back, and then a million times better than he is a left winger. He's actually looked effective in the last two games, hasn't he? As a fullback, as a proper fullback, rather than a wide man or a weird wingman thing. I think it suits his game better. And obviously while we're playing for it at the back, I hope that works. The worry, well, I guess we're going to come on to injury in a bit, but that's worry is when Miller's back, the easy thing because according to Andy, he's our inside correspondent is back on the grass. Is he, Andy Miller? You said today. No, if he's not a million miles away, Miller will be straight in at left back, and they'll be shoving Ruskin forward. What they can see it coming.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see when he does come back, Miller, where he fits in. I mean, you can't really take Castledine out, can you? Because he's been brilliant. So the thing is with Miller, though, how long do you think he'll last? 3 games? 4 games? Would you play him maybe every 1 in every 2 or 1 in every 3 just to try and conserve him, just playing for the big games? Because there's no doubt, is there, that he's on his day, he's one of our best players. He's absolutely brilliant. But you just can't get a sustained run of games out of him.
I just won't rush him back at this minute in time. I think I appreciate we're missing players, but I just won't rush him back. I quite to the point that the lads have made. I think Ruskin is doing a decent job, and actually, I haven't necessarily been that kind of I won't say impressed because he's done some nice stuff and he does do some does do a lot kind of in his movement and off the ball, Castledine, but his end product doesn't seem to have been there, and absolutely on Saturday you can't question that end product. Interestingly, he actually tried it. He tried it earlier on, didn't he? It was kind of it wasn't in top corner, it was in bottom corner sort of thing, and it looked like it were like a kind of cross shot almost. And I think it was Sorensen that didn't get on the end of it, maybe. But he seems to have benefited from Ruskin going down the outside and being that kind of overlap. It allows him to cut in. It gives him that bit more time. And I think when he has that little bit more time, he can do something with the ball. I think when he's playing centrally or when he's played on the right, he doesn't have the speed to go round a man. I'm not sure he quite has the kind of skills to take a man on, and so then that makes it difficult for him playing on the right or centrally, in tight spaces. So I think he is kind of better off that left hand side and benefits from Ruskin creating a bit of space going round him.
Gaz has gone for a lie down. It's all too much.
All
he's gone
too
to turn
much.
the lights on. That's no, he's gone.
I'm back.
Here
There
he
he
is.
is.
Here he is.
I can't believe why. No, when everybody else leaves the screen, you just carry on like no what's ever happened, Nick. I get up and it's a point of fun.
Because I know
Why
it
are
winds
you
you up,
picking on
mate.
He's a
I've just realised I've left my phone charging cable in Huddersfield and I'm in Glasgow. So I'm
Oh,
going to flat
no.
phone. So if anybody rings me tomorrow, chances are I won't be answering.
Oh God, you're having a mare, mate, aren't you? I tell you what.
At least I didn't go to Exeter and forget my match tickets.
Hey, don't do that, eh?
Oh,
Don't do that.
What sort of prick can do that, Andy?
I bet whoever it was put him in that safe place that he always puts things that he remembers them, and then didn't. So yeah, not better.
OT apparently reckons I'm in a travel lodge. OT clearly doesn't know me well enough if he thinks I stop in travel lodges.
Nothing less than 5-star will do for Gaz, mate. We all know this.
Exactly.
Jed Robinson says, Nick, let's get on to negatives. Mate, we don't like negatives on this pod, mate. Give us a chance to just
he's on the wrong
maintain a
podcast
bit
if
of
he's looking for
positivity.
negative people. He's on the wrong podcast, isn't he?
Get on here and he takes that chance. They do negative. We only do positive round here.
Get on the post-match review, mate, and he takes that chance for all that shite. This is positivity only.
Positive land.
But seeing as you've asked, let's chat about it. I mean, it did put a bit of a downer on it, didn't it? Let's be honest. So Zeppi Quine, everyone keeps saying it differently, so I'm just going to call him Zeppi, right? So Zeppi Redmond out for months, and I'm getting a bit pissed off with it because every single player that we lose seems to be out for months, not just weeks, it's months. So Zeppi Redmond, he does an action? I think Grant called it. He did an action. And twisted his sen. So twisted his knee, so he's probably torn a ligament or something. So that'll be months. Alves went to walk and felt a pop in his foot, broken foot. Kane twisted funny groin injury, out for months. We've already got Gooch, Watmore, Chapman, Miller. Although I don't know if Chapman's back now, but Miller's out. McGuane, I've given up. I don't think he exists. I think he's gone somewhere, never to return because Lee Grant never talks about him, and no one really asks him, to be fair. But he's kind of the forgotten man at the moment. Is McGuane? I'd like somebody, if anyone's listening that has access to Grant, just to ask him: is he ever coming back, or are we giving up like Bolker? But it's a lot of players injured, lads. In it again, we had this scenario season before and the season before that, and every team has injuries. But why are we getting so many? Andy, you said you were asked about this on Radio Leeds tonight, mate, and it sounds like bad luck this season. And maybe if the season before and the season before hadn't happened, it wouldn't be a talking point. But these are injuries to key players. out for long periods of time, and any team would struggle, mate. Do we have a right? Should we be concerned about this? And why? Why are we getting so many injuries all the time?
They seem to think that it was something to do with the work going on at the at Canal Side, be that the workload or whether there's been changes to pitches or the environment that they're doing their exercises in. I don't know. I couldn't really work out. I think it's just we're incredibly lucky. According to Matt Shaw on our sister pod, we're now at 13 separate players who've been injured this season, and at this time last year it was just the 12. So there is a repeated statistic of people getting injured, but are we just signing people and they're having accidents? I mean, they said that it was an accidental thing for Alves. I thought he dropped his wallet on his foot or something, and then he's popped or something. That I guess that could happen at any point. But is that a strain related? Is that a stress related injury? Have we overworked them? But they've only been there for like 3-4 weeks. So you would think that unless they've been overworked by their previous clubs, that it wouldn't be a workload thing. You would imagine. And they've not played. Redmond's hardly played at all, haven't they? So I wouldn't have thought that would come through us. It could be if it's contact injuries, like Evans was a contact injury in Austria, wasn't it? The others, Herbie Kane tried to Hong Kong Fooey somebody again and has actually hurt himself instead of like last time when he just completely missed everybody. So he's actually injured himself instead of the Bradford player he tried to injure. It's difficult to know. I think you'd hope that the communication issues that were evident last time when one department wasn't talking to another about workload has gone. It could just be that, it's not something that I've ever experienced myself, but being at the peak of fitness, maybe if you're that finely tuned an athlete, it only takes one tiny thing to make you go snap. I don't know. Just there's a lot to be said for being fat and idle. I don't pull hamstrings out. I just get tired because I'm old.
What are you trying to say, Andy? Are you saying that about all of us, mate? Or you talk? I mean,
no, just me. I speak for me. I speak for me.
Speak for yourself.
Speak for me.
They've changed everything, though, haven't they? So they changed the head of medical. He got the chop, didn't he? That's not a great analogy, is it, from Thor? But he got the chop. We've had, they've changed all the players. Are pretty much, we've changed the management team 4 or 5 times. We seem to be changing everything, but the injuries don't seem to stop coming. So, I mean, the only constant is the facilities in which they train. That's the only constant we have, which is Canal Side. But I can't imagine there's anything. I'm sure there's no like booby traps or Lee Grant got a desk with a button on that drops people into a crocodile trap. They're in. I'm actually at loss. And what worries me actually is that we're getting injuries to the deadline day signing, so that knackers us because they're both loans. So I don't know where that leaves us. Can you terminate the loan and go get another? I have no idea. But also we've got players now who are in the first team or pretty close to being picked every week. But we're also injury prone. So Ruskin likes an injury. Sorensen's had an injury too. Kasumu generally can only play 6 or 8 games before he's off for 6 or 8 games.
Yeah.
That's my other worry as well. Is the squad's already now starting to look thin, and then on top of that, we're relying on people who've got a bit of a checkered history. So, I think 13. Did you say Matt's number was 13?
Yeah, I said 13.
I think by Christmas it could easily be 16, 18, 20, couldn't it? The way we carry on. So I still go back to a lot of these players. I think when we've signed them, they've got checkered histories, which is why they've ended up with Huddersfield Town. But less so now than when Mr. Cartwright was here. We did seem to go through a phase of yes, but we think they'll be fine with us, and then it turns out they're not. But yeah, I mean, how do you legislate for 2 kids who've never had any injuries in their career ever, coming on loan and both getting injured within a week of each other for months? I don't know what you do with that. I don't know what you do.
I'm going to start. I'm going to take some sage down to AQ and start burning it, guys. Just wafting it around. Just get rid of that curse that's hanging over us. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. There's nothing we can do with them. But I think you bang on, guys. Kasumu, I'm fully expecting him to be out in the next week or two injured because that's what he does. And then who've we got? Who've we got in midfield? Do you know what I mean? I think. Let me ask you, what do you think our best midfield is then? Because I think this is probably it. Ledson, Kasumu, Wiles. I think certainly away from home. I think Kasumu's really good away from home because he breaks play up. He drives it forward. His passing ain't great, but I think in terms of effectiveness, to me, that's probably our best midfield. But what do you guys think? What do you listeners think as well? What midfield would you choose ideally, guys? Because I'm just interested because with that many central midfielders, but we've struggled, haven't we, to find the right combination.
Well, I said last week, didn't I? It was mad we spent all this money and now we're talking about Kasumu being a necessity in the centre midfield. And it worked on, let's be fair, it worked on Saturday and it did work, but against a not great Exeter team. And I just worry that Kasumu and Ledson are too samey for home games. I just think we need a bit more dynamism in centre mid because Wiles will wander from the 10 role as is his one. So that leaves them often 2 on 3 as well sometimes. So Kane and Ledson worked a bit, didn't it, at home early season. But I think you're right, Nick, with what we've got at the minute in the squad, the 3 that played Saturday will be the 3 that play on Saturday coming, I would think.
Well, we'll find out a bit tomorrow night, won't we, the Virtue Trophy, because I'll be absolutely certain that none of those 3 will play tomorrow night, especially not after, that sitting on that bus for 5 hours down, 5 hours back to
They flew, didn't they? Apparently they flew.
Oh, did it?
Apparently so, yeah.
But I can't imagine that they'll play hardly any of that team. So I think Gooch might get some minutes tomorrow night, and I think we'll see some.
Play 9-10, and I was pleased to see Voss get on, by the way. Yeah, I was pleased to see him get on.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was his league debut, but chuffed for the. It was a nice. You saw when he came off at the end, he went over to Grant and gave him a proper big. I'm amazed at that. That's brilliant. Thank you so much for giving me that type of hug. And you feel for these young lads that are coming through, and getting to achieve something like that, at the young age. And he's not looked out of place for me, hasn't Voss, when he's come on in any of the games. And certainly in the Virtue Trophy games, he's done well. So I'd expect him to play tomorrow night. But yeah, we can't risk any of the others because what happens if a League Two lad decides that he's going to leave an imprint on somebody, and that could be another one gone. So yeah, we'll be a very, very different team tomorrow night, I think.
We've gone from having a massive squad to suddenly we're already starting to talk about as being light, aren't we? The narrative's already changed, and we're 10 games in. So we do have a better squad than last season to make more of a fist of it, but we just need better luck. We need better luck with these injuries.
You're right, and I think that was I was thinking about. It's more about the injuries. What we have got though, as you're right saying, Nick, is we've got people we can bring in that actually aren't much of a downgrade. Last year we were bringing, Ollie Turton and Josh Ruffles, and with the great respect to them 2 guys, they were a downgrade on the people that they were replacing. I think we're probably in a much better place than that. And as you right saying, Grant clearly trusts 1 or 2 or 3 of these young lads. I think they'll get Voss. We'll get a run of games at some point, I think, this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at town site now, the town squad. We've got 3 goalkeepers, 8 defenders, 5 listed as midfielders, and one of those is mysterious Marcus Maguire. And we've got 11 forwards, according to this. They're counting Wiles as a forward, Harness as a forward, Ruskin as a forward. So play an entire 11 of forwards, and let's just see what happens. We could lose 11-10, but it'd be bloody brilliant, wouldn't it?
All out attack.
I have a feeling
play goalie when and everything.
I have a feeling Kasumu will play tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. When we played Newcastle under 21s, he could have played a more weakened squad than he did, and he still played Watmore, Sorensen. I think Kasumu played that game, Joe Taylor, Harness, Ruskin, Rowan. So I do. I do. I think he'll play. I'm not certain there's that many more options.
Kasumu out for 2 months following injury at Harrogate. Oh God.
Toenail injury. Well, it's where Balker did himself, didn't he? You never know. He's got bad vibes. Will we ever see him again? What's happened to him?
I don't know, mate.
Rumours
weird,
galore about him, about he was offered moves and then he decided not to take them and all sorts of stuff. I'm not one of the many in the knows that in and around the town club, but yeah, I just the lad's a good footballer and Lee Grant likes to play football, so you would imagine if he was fit and his head was in the right place, he'd be in and among the squad, and he's nowhere, is he? So I think that probably tells you what you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we're just going to have to hope out with it. 1 or 2 people starting to come back, but like you said, I think the difference last season is we didn't have that squad depth, so we were forcing players back too soon. They were getting injured again, and it's just a vicious cycle, isn't it? Whereas I think, like you say, Gaz, now, we do have players who can come in of a similar ability, and it's not a massive downgrade. We've got essentially almost 2 first teams there to work with. So hopefully there's not going to be any more long-term injuries, and we can hopefully our bad luck is done now, and we'll start to get a bit of good luck, because I think we need it. But I mean, we've changed all the, like you say, Kaz, we got rid of the chief medical guy. We've got a new physio in. I think we got one of the physios from Barnsley who've been there, who were highly rated. Like, we've revamped the team, haven't we, behind the scenes? So we'll see what happens. Jed Robinson says Evans back on the grass, he'll be needed. Yeah, I don't think he's far off. I mean, I felt sorry for him because he looked like he were doing decent work in pre-season. So I'll be interested to see how he goes, because last season he wasn't brilliant. He didn't really live up to the hype. So maybe he'll come back a different player this season. I don't know. But anyway, enough of this negativity. Right, let's move on to something a bit more positive. Jed, bringing us down, mate, making us talk about injuries.
Jed.
There's always one, isn't there, that has to spoil it. But let's talk about the stadium, guys, because we had a historical announcement this week that the club has taken 100% control over the stadium. Now it's the club has the stadium, not Kevin Nagle, which is quite significant. But it also includes a 50-odd acre site. It's not just the stadium itself. So there's going to be a lot of potential for development. In the past, they talked about a hotel, that talked about a conference venue. It's exciting, isn't it? I mean, it's a really, really great position to be in as a club to own your own stadium, because not every club can say that. It's going to really help in terms of revenue generation. It's going to give us freedom to be able to make decisions on things like concerts, etc. But I'm really interested to see what happens in and around the stadium area, because there's a lot of potential there, and it's been kind of, I won't say wasteland, but it's not been utilised, has it? So Huddersfield as a town, I think it'd be kind to say that it's struggling a little bit. There's not a lot of quality shops or facilities. It's more of a university, like a big uni campus, rather than a town centre, to be honest. There's not really much of an excuse for someone like me to travel and go in there. So it'd be great to generate something, whether there's some retail, whether there's some shops, or just a bit of something extra, something novel to bring people in. And that all feeds into the football club as well, and the town. So, guys, what are your thoughts on it? Brilliant news, obviously. How do you see it developing? What do you think's going to happen? Same for you guys listening as well. What do you want to see on the site?
Well, I think real estate's one of his. He loves a bit of real estate. There's old Kev. So I think I was the first thing I spotted was the same as you, Nick, when they mentioned they dropped the 53 acres in. It's not just the stadium, 53 acres. Interesting that they're on a leaseholder, so the council have retained the freehold. So that gives the council an element of control that Kev can't just decide to flatten the stadium and build houses on it, which is good news. I think somebody said to him about a hotel on Twitter, and he said, "Watch this space." So I think that's the first thing they've got to build.
He said it in his interview, guys. He said
Did
it.
he, Twist?
His club interview. He said it.
I've not listened to it, and I'm not a massive Kirklees Council fan, I have to say, but they plan to have a corridor from the train station down Northumberland Street, down Leeds Road, down Gasworks Street to the football club. I think it's a good idea. The problem at the minute, all they've done so far is built 2 university buildings, so that's great for the university. I'm not sure what that adds to the Leeds Road corridor or to our experience or bringing people back to the town centre. So there's a lot of work to do. There is some good stuff going on in town. They're obviously rebuilding the old market hall. When that's done, there's a plan then to redo the outdoor market. So there are some bits going on, but it feels a long way. And as far as the ground goes and the surrounding area, taking control of this really is town's only hope of ever really having a sustainable club. Because we could sell every seat in the ground, right? And unless we're in the Premier League with the money that comes with being in the Premier League and telly money, we're never going to make a profit. We can never sell enough seats and boards and pies and signs and haircut partners and fucking underpant partners and new socks partners. The no amount of partners is going to fill the gap to be a competitive championship team, which is where we want to be. The ground makes a difference. And if he gets it right, this genuinely could be the thing that takes us from being a loss-making club into a club that has massive potential. And we all know he bought us. No, he's not going to be here in 20 years. We all know that. This always was a short to medium-term project for Kevin. He's always been reasonably open about that. So, yeah, it's a massive step forward. Massive. There's loads of question marks, and I'm sure HTSA will try and iron some of those question marks out for us as fans. But I was really genuinely, for the first time in a long time, I was excited about something around Huddersfield Town other than as signing players.
I can tell, mate. I've never seen you look this happy. Honestly, like you're absolutely glowing, mate. And it's
apparently this line makes me a lot. My son's just sent me a message saying, "Why are you wearing lipstick?" It must be the line.
It does.
Now you've said it, mate. Actually, I didn't know.
You can't unsee it now, Nick, can you? You can't unsee it now, can you?
Oh no! Let's blank him out. It's the council should work very closely with them and support, because problem with Huddersfield, right? I was chatting with my old man about this, and he's worked for the council before. He doesn't anymore. But I'm led to believe a lot of because Huddersfield's got some great architecture. The problem is that a lot of these are privately owned, and so the council have no say in how these are used, and they're kind of left derelict, some of these. So, but this is a chance for the council to work with Kevin Coe to actually build something great and something that's going to attract people into the town. And like you say, Gaz, it's a real chance for the club to be as sustainable as possible. Now, I don't know what that's going to... Are we going to see a monorail linking Huddersfield train station to the football ground? Probably not. But it would be great to see some innovative, maybe some little shops, some nice restaurants there. We talked about, I think someone had mentioned a music vent, like an amphitheatre or something.
Amphitheatre, that's what I want.
Yeah,
that's what I want. They promised it at a business breakfast. I want an amphitheatre all year round in Huddersfield.
We could do with another town shop, like a superstore. I mean, it'd be nice to have one in town centre, but we could do with a bigger superstore. It talked about this conference venue. I mean, I'd like to see some parking, first of all, because you cannot park anywhere around that ground unless you've got a permit, which you're waiting 20 years on a list for.
Yeah.
So if they want people to go to these conferences, they've got to have parking to actually, to get there and stay there. So hopefully they'll build a hotel that'll be good enough for guests to stay in. It's going to have to be 5-star luxury, but again, the town we haven't got any decent. We've got one or two, but we haven't got a decent hotel in town centre really. So Huddersfield as a town needs help. It needs a pull. Like Halifax has got the Peace Hall. There's lots of places that have these little. There's specific things that you can say. Right, I'm going to Huddersfield for this. We don't have that. So I'm really excited to see what this is going to bring, and it's not going to be short term. But I just think for the football club, this is massive, and he's achieved what other owners haven't been able to achieve, which is to get that control and hopefully fulfill potential of the site. But let me know, guys, what you would like to see there. Jed Robinson says, I'm feeling positive now, Nick, after hearing Kevin's hoping to build a love hotel there. I'm excited. Yeah. So positive stuff. And that moves us on now to the upcoming 2 games. So we've got Harrogate away in the Virtue Trophy. Harrogate beat Mansfield 1-0 in the previous game. So not to be underestimated. Nice ground is Harrogate as well. Like a proper football ground that I like to visit. The pie and mash they do there is top notch. But we're going to see surely some wholesale changes for this guys, aren't we? We're going to see some of the kids out there. What do you think it's going to be a case of let's make 10, 11 changes and just see what happens? Because the thing is, momentum's important as well. We don't want to just throw it away, do we? But equally, like we talked about the injuries, we've got to be careful, haven't we, with who we play?
I think you got Murray Wallace is definitely going to play, isn't he? You'd think if Watman's got any chance of being back, he might get some minutes. Gooch is going to play because he needs minutes. I think Goodman will be in goal. I'm just flicking through list here. The mysterious Marcus Bengoe, Sway and Voss Dashier,
Charles
Taylor.
And Taylor. Yeah.
I think
still an half reasonable. It's a half reasonable lineup, that isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Still decent.
I wondered if there might be some of the younger lads as well get a kind of look in.
Yeah, they've got to because we can pick 8 or 9 there that will be decent first team players, but they've got to. Some of the under 21s have got to come in and have a run. That's the whole point of the almost being in the competition, isn't it? Because the benefit that it can give experience to the youngers.
Yeah. Other than the lads that have been in the team so far, I don't know many of the under 21s, to be honest with you. I think quite a few of them have arrived at the club recently. So the only lad is your lad, Andy, that I know really.
Yeah, there's look, I'm looking at the Jay Sway's on there, George, brother of Tom, your Pender's there. There's Luke Daly, who's been near the first team as well. Icky Solomon's been near the first team. There's the lad Togo from Chef Wednesday. He's you never know what might happen with him. Midfield, and they've got there's Asher and Vost. The rest of them, there's the Jackson Shorrocks, the guy from Blackburn that was very highly rated. You might see him on the bench. This Sahil Bashir scored in the game that Dion Charles played in, didn't they? Then up front, Peter Thomas is there, and the other 2 lads, Brooklyn Bailey and George Sabine, I've not heard of before. So there's options there. Right, yeah.
The thing is, there's going to be a time where some of these youngsters have to start getting some form of game time or get moved on.
Yeah.
We've done this before, haven't we, where we've waited and waited and waited and we've just never made it and then they've just been released. Well, if they're going to ever make that step up, they can't do that without actually playing first team football. So this is a perfect opportunity in a game that hopefully we can get a result. But really, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if we didn't. So there's not a massive amount of pressure there, is there?
I think he quite fancies going far in the competition, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He said that. Yeah.
And so I think it'll be a reasonably. I think it'll be a mix of first teamers with youth probably with a mix of first teamers and youth on the bench as well. So
Yeah.
I don't think he'll go completely like we did last year and just throw him under the bus. A little like they did. It were at Donny, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah, that team got hammered, didn't it?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of youth, probably too much youth. So I think this is a chance for one or two of them.
Predictions, guys, before we move on to Stockport. Don't all go at once.
2-0 Town.
1-0 Town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one?
1-0.
Because it is,
1-0
in fact,
Town.
Harrogate Town.
1-0
It's
Huddersfield Town.
TAFC versus HDFC, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah, they're Harrogate. They've got you pronounce the H in Harrogate, don't you? That's the difference.
Harrogate. Yeah.
1-0 Huddersfield.
Yeah, we should have.
Full sweep of victories, Nick. Whatever next.
Last time
I haven't made my prediction yet, guys.
Oh, hang on.
3-1 Huddersfield. 3-1 Huddersfield. We should have too much room.
What were you saying, Tris?
Last time we did that, I think it were against Burton. We lost, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
No, we drew. We drew.
Well, I said we'd draw against Exeter because I'm a miserable fecker. So I'm going to do that now for every league game, a draw, defeat, and then we're guaranteed to win. That's why I don't ever make a bet on Town because I get it wrong every time. Quana time says 6-0 Huddersfield. I like it. He's obviously been drinking. So
Town.
Yeah. When did we last score 6 goals?
In last game
Newcastle.
against Newcastle.
Yeah, last,
Oh, it was
last game
6, wasn't it? I was thinking it was 5. It wasn't. It was 6. Oh, well.
6.
Oh, shut up, man.
Of the week.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
That's why I'm on this pod for my knowledge.
Yeah.
Stockport County at home, then, a slightly tougher test. Stockport, they haven't set world alight, have they? But interestingly, the home and away form is equal. 1-2 drawn 2, lost 1. So it's hard to know really what to make of them. They don't seem as good as last year, but they have some really good players still at their disposal. Play some decent football. In some of the games, they've played good football and just not had the breaks. This is a tough test, but really, looking at some of the other games we've got, we're at home. The home advantage should tell. Well, it needs to. We need to be winning majority of the whole games to be up there. I think that we have to get a result here. I think we have to get a win. And I'm going to be saying 1-0 Town. But do you think there's going to be many changes from this side that we've seen? To me, I will probably stick with a similar side. But Gaz, would you make any changes for it?
I don't think you will. I mean, why would you? When you've played like that in your last game, unless it's forced, why would you make a load of changes? It's a tricky game. I mean, they're a tricky opponent. On the day, they're a decent team, aren't they? They've still got some decent. I know they've got rid of a couple, but you've still got good old Ollie Norwood pulling the strings, haven't you? In there, they play 3 at the back, so we struggled against 3 at the back with Bradford, but then on Exeter when they played 3 at the back, it played right into our hands. So I think it's going to be honestly, that's a really tough one to call. I weirdly feel less confident about Stockport than I do about Luton away the week after. Weirdly, yeah. Are you wanting score predictions, or can I think about it?
I demand it, Gaz.
You demand.
Have a think about it, mate. Have a think about it. What, Andy Tris? What were your thoughts on it? Because I'm the opposite of Gaz. Weirdly, and I'm more confident about this. Maybe it's because we're at home and we have played well at home, and they're not as good as what they were last season. Or don't seem to be. Maybe they just don't have the breaks. But to me, we should be going out to win this game.
Yeah, they obviously went out and bought or brought in a number of quite significant attacking options, the Nathan Lowe and Mothershill from Peterborough, and the lad that were there last year that kind of did all right last year and what have you, Wootton, seems to be the main striker, you know, and getting the goals. I think in actual fact he's top scorer in the league. You know, and equally as Gaz said, you know, Norwood still seems to be sat there doing what he does, being a pain in the ass. And you know, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Given that they've brought all it's a little bit like us earlier on talking about bringing all these players in and then thinking Kasuma was the best option. You know, that seems to be the case for them. So you know, I expect they'll probably come and play nice football. You know, they'll try and probably knock it about and stuff. And actually, this might be the game that we see a bit more of the Northern football of trying to press on them, let them take the ball, you know, and try and press them quite high up the pitch, winning the ball high up the pitch. You know, and I don't know. It'll be an interesting one, won't it? I think one of the only games they've lost is against Plymouth, and I think they unfortunately just got Plymouth as they'd signed that lad from Port Vale, and you know, and got Plymouth on the start of their kind of decent run that they've gone on. So yeah, it's an interesting one, really. I'm not sure how I'd call it. I think I'm probably with Gaz. You know, I feel like Stockport seem to be a little bit of a bogey team for us at times. You know, we're not always we don't always seem to do well against them. So yeah, I might be inclined to take a draw at the weekend and look for a result away at Luton, bizarrely.
Yeah, looking at their last 5 games just on league table, they've drawn 3 out of 5, won 1, lost 1. So I think we're due another draw. So I'm going draw. Plus I'm at posh seats, so we won't get a win when we're at posh seats. Can't have everything, can you? So
eating them prawn sandwiches again, mate.
It's all right. Got to celebrate your birthday.
Absolutely. Jed says 4-0 Town, mate. That's insane, but I like it. If we win 4-0, honestly, I don't know what I'll do.
Grass to nettles.
Yeah. We need to have a tiny little section, don't we, called Grantisms or Grant quotes of the week or something. Corner Time says 2-0 Town. Nice. I think we'll concede, but I could see us getting a cheeky 2-1, you know, against Stockport home, and then get absolutely bummed 3-0 by Luton away. But I hope the thing we've got to, at some point, if we're going to mount a challenge for top 2, we're going to have a sustained run of wins, whether it's 4, 5, 6 wins. It's going to have to come soon, because Bradford are already 4 points clear. We don't want to be giving them 7, 8, 9 points gap. So I'm going to be positive. I'm going for a win for Town and take that momentum into Luton. But it's going to be a tough run of fixtures, that's for sure. This could define our season, these next 5 games, you know. Big games. And Wickham, that's not going to be easy. We're Duff in charge, is it?
I think like a little bit like we said before the Exeter game. It's building on the foundations in it. You know, again, we just want to see a decent first half rather than a decent second half. You know, try and put 2 together. You know, and try and put a bit of a performance together at home, because that's been kind of probably the next thing. You know, we've not really put, maybe by the first game of the season, we've not really put a performance together at home. So if we can put a performance together across the game, you know, and if we get a kind of draw out of it, you know, I'd be fairly happy with that at this point, you know, to then build for the coming weeks.
Yeah, I think I'm erring to a draw as well. I think probably a 1-1. We're more than capable of repeating the performance from Saturday at home. The problem with a team like Stockport is they get 3 or 4 clear-cut chances. They're going to take one. Not unlike Exeter, they will take one, and that's going to be our challenge in it. That we, even when we play well for 75 minutes, we still concede chances, which is the nature of the beast in League One, isn't it? So I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, which, to be honest, I'd be quite happy with. You know, that'd be 3 games unbeaten back to back. I mean, I won't even be disappointed with 0-0 because it'd be nice to keep 3 clean sheets as well, wouldn't it? Back to back. So yeah, I think I'm going to go 1-1.
And if we can get a couple of players back, you know, if obviously Gooch gets some minutes tomorrow, you know, if he can get some minutes on the pitch, and you know, if as has been suggested, Evans or Watmore or whoever, you know, is kind of looking like the boots back on sort of thing, you know, that'd be good to have them back on the bench, you know. But I'd still take a draw, given that we haven't got that kind of team out.
So defeatist, guys, honestly. Like, go for win, man. If we don't win, I'm going to be miserable as sin. I always am. I'm always right miserable if we don't get the 3 points. I know what you're saying, and they're a good side, but we've got to get, at some point, we've got to get a run of wins together, because otherwise there's going to be too big a gap, and then you're chasing. And Town aren't good chasing, let's be honest. Jed, I'm not going to dye my hair. Although Town's making my hair go grey, so I might have to go for me Just for Men or whatever, just to, you know, to try and keep young. But guys, what lipstick is that? That could be a forfeit, guys. If Town win 4-0, Gaz will go with some lipstick on to next
mascara.
Game, He'll
and
get
a
his
bit of
lipstick
blusher,
ready to go. Yeah,
bit of rouge, foundation.
Yeah, let's just hope let's hope we can keep this momentum going. If not, I'll be miserable. Back to normal, but here's hoping not. And then finally, last episode we discussed the terrible news of the sudden passing of Alfie Firth. Now, a GoFundMe page was set up, which we discussed because of his sudden passing, to help donate towards the funeral and memorial costs. And I'm pleased to say that it's been really, really good. The GoFundMe page is currently at £4,251, which is really good. And Golke United put on a game in Alfie's honour against Fackley and donated the proceeds from that. So that's another £2,170, bringing the total to £6,221, which is absolutely brilliant. There is Golke United on X. There is a link to that GoFundMe page on there. So feel free to go on there, have a look. And if you'd be kind enough to donate something, that I'm sure that would mean the world to them. We want to obviously donate as much as possible to that, don't we? And hopefully, I know, Andy, you said that the Town are aware of it. Kevin Nagel's aware of it. So hopefully, as a club, we can do something. I'm not sure what, but hopefully we can sort something out for that. It'd be nice to do something, wouldn't it?
Ultimately, Alfie was a Town fan first and foremost, but he loved, you know, the connection with Golke United, and he went home and away. He went to all sort of, you know, reserve team games and everything. Because, you know, when you've got I'm saying with Penny Church, you know, it's just a different experience. But Town were his first love. The picture that I saw on X that sort of alerted me to the situation was a picture of him at the training ground a couple of years ago, I guess. So yeah, it's terrible when, you know, any young death, but it sort of hits a little bit when it is literally one of your own type of thing, you know, one of our own extended Town family. So if we can do anything to help the family, then I think it will be very gratefully received, as Nick said. But I'm proud as punch with how many people have stepped forward. You look at the GoFundMe, and your people were paying the equivalent of going to the match, but probably didn't go. But they, you know, every little helps. So yeah, very grateful on behalf of the family.
Yeah. Right, guys. I don't think there's anything else, is there? We've waffled on there for an hour and 20. I think that's enough for anybody. If you've stayed the distance, congratulations. You've put up with us for an hour and 20 minutes. Guys, have you anything more to add before we close up? Thank you so much, guys, as always, for all your contributions. Like I always say every episode, it means a lot because that's what this is about. At the end of the day, I know we sit here chatting away, waffling about bollocks, but it's all about you guys. It's a town social. We want as many opinions as possible, and we want you to join in. We want it to be interactive. We want you to come on here with us and talk, or at the very least, post your questions and your comments, and we want to know what you guys are thinking. So it does mean a lot to us. It's been really good to see how the engagement's built up over the last few months. So hopefully we can keep that going. Andy Takes That Chance are still looking to reach 1,000 Patreon members, I believe. And members will receive exclusive content, extra episodes, early released episodes and articles. So do go on there on Patreon and have a look. And if you can subscribe, then that'll massively help. And I'm sure Matt and Killer will be back doing a preview show as well for the if not Harrogate, then certainly the Stockport. So give
just
that a listen.
Something comment in chat there from Jed. If Jed's home for Christmas, Jed comes on here. We need to see the source of all this contribution. We need to see Jed Robinson face to face. So get your. I said this in the away end. You got so much love in the away end on Saturday, Gaz. It would like being your own personal blood. I love that, Gaz. He tells it straight. He tells it how it is. It was quite heartwarming. I wish you could have been there to see how well loved you are. It was great.
They were all Bradford fans, Gaz.
Out there to do from Exeter. It was great to meet the likes of Mark Harrison and lots of other people down there on Saturday. It really was, and it feels really good. Well, but Jed, if you're coming home for Christmas, you're coming on here, pal. You have to join in with this. So let's get him on.
Well,
come on before you can come on.
Yeah. Don't know what he's doing.
He's upside down. Doesn't he live in Australia?
He lives in Australia, isn't he? So he's probably supposed to be working. He'll be sat in his ute shooting kangaroos or something. That's what I don't know what they do in Australia. I don't know where that came from, but it did.
I'm sure that's illegal.
Possibly. That might be a protected species, but I don't know. Yeah, look, he said he's coming on. Good lad, Jed. Good lad. And rest of you. We need you.
Yeah.
As many people as possible, because look, it's not exactly intimidating, is it? Look at us form up it. Do you know what I mean? The bar isn't exactly high, is it? So, come on and have a chat.
And it's not high. Yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly, guys, we massively appreciate it, and it's nice to see how it's grown as well over the last season or so. So it's just nice for us all to get together and talk about town, innit? And long may it continue. But right, everyone, we'll call it there. Thank you very much, Andy, Tristan, Gaz. And we'll be back after the Stockport games. We'll talk about both Harrogate and Stockport games. Hopefully 2 wins, if not like these 3 miserable feckers predicting draws every 2 minutes. We'll hopefully. And take care, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll roll the credits and see you soon.
There's a team that is dear to its followers. The colours are bright blue and white. They're a team of renown, and they're the pride of the town. And the game of football is their delight. And all the while upon the field of play, thousands loudly cheer them on the way. Often you can hear them say, who can beat the town today? And then the bells will ring so merrily, and every goal shall be a memory. So town, play up and bring that cup back to Huddersfield. So town, play up and bring the cup back to Huddersfield.